What is up, my friends? How are we? You are very welcome along to tonight's late night agenda. Apologies, I was a couple of minutes late, but like everybody else, I was trying to take in the last few moments I could of that Barcelona-Inter game, which, wow, what a start to that one. 4 goals in the first half already. Loads for us to get through tonight, my friends. We're going to be talking lots of transfer links, some more behind-the-scenes comments from Anfield as well, a little bit about Diogo Jota's future, Liverpool's potential pursuit of Rodrigo from Real Madrid, and lots more. So, as always, appreciate you guys being in for a chat. Alex said, evening Craig and the gang, what a game, Barca v Inter. It's nuts, isn't it, man? What a game it is. Genuinely, I was just, I was sitting back taking it all in shock. It was Lamine Yamal's joke, and I mean that in a good way. His goal was just incredible. But we do have a lot of Liverpool news as well for me to get through over the next while, and even more so for the late night video. So I'm going to get cracking into it in a couple of moments' time, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate you all coming in. I know it's Champions League night and it's going to be a quiet stream, but, you know, I got to do what I got to do, which is my job. So how are we? How's the Premier League trophy doing today? It's good. It's up in the bedroom, and I don't mean that in any kind of sexual way. I mean, genuinely, it is up in the bedroom at the minute because it's rather imposing when you come in and you see it just there in the living room. So we moved it upstairs to make the living room somewhat normal again. So look, tonight, ladies and gents, we're going to be talking about Maca Real Madrid. We're going to be talking about Taffarel and Alisson's future at the club. We're going to be discussing Liverpool's pursuit of Dean Huijsen, a little bit in Joel Haddo, Joel Kwanzaa, Harvey Elliott, Hugo Ekitike. Actually, just a lot of stuff to go through. George, how are you, my man? Appreciate your 20-month membership and, of course, your patronage of the channel, George. Said, hey, Craig, how are you doing? I'm good. Good the Morgan Rogers and Rodrigo links are exciting, or good the Morgan Rogers and Rodrigo links are exciting. How are you, and how much do you think we sign? I think we signed 4 or 5 players. With regards to who, honestly, mate, I don't know at this point. Huijsen, I'm quietly confident of. Kirkes, I'm starting to become a little bit nervous about, because there are links to Liverpool and other left backs whom are a lot cheaper, and I hope we're not looking to cheap out on that one, George. But yeah, look, plenty to go through tonight. Ait-Nouri links up there again. Again, to start off with this one, Rayan Ait-Nouri is among the type of left backs Liverpool are looking for. There is a feeling at Wolves that Ait-Nouri has earned the chance to move to a bigger club if a suitable offer comes in. So we'll be talking about him. There's some stuff around, what's the dude's name from Fulham? Their left back. What's his name again? Anthony Robinson. There's some stories to say that Liverpool are looking at a Harvey Elliott, Anthony Robinson swap, and I got to say, I don't for 1 second believe that. I just don't. I don't think Liverpool are going to make a move for Anthony Robinson, who's going to be 28 on his next birthday. It doesn't make any sense to me. I've said that all the way through, but, you know, I could be wrong. Strange things have happened. Chris said, I can't wait for the parade. No doubt it's going to be legendary scenes, mate, in Liverpool, and the city's going to come to a standstill, and rightly so. Of course, me being stupid me, I'll be flying home that morning and back over a couple of days later. But still, what a time for the city. Will said, evening Craig, hope you're well. I'm good, Will. I'm good. I've got a potentially bit of good news for everybody about a show in Cork as promised, but I will get to that in one moment. Jen, thank you for gifting 5 Anfield Agenda memberships. Really do appreciate that. And look, ladies and gentlemen, it being a Surfshark night, we got to play the Surfshark advert. And just a quick reminder that we wouldn't be here without the support of our incredible sponsors. And today it is Surfshark. So I will be back in 63 quick seconds. You can count them. This video is sponsored by Surfshark, the best VPN on the market. Surfshark is an app or browser extension that allows you to change your location to access websites in other countries and keep you safe from hackers. For example, we here in Ireland can access other countries' Netflix libraries, streaming services such as DAZN in Spain for those all-important Premier League games. Surfshark keeps you safe and private by protecting everything you do online. When your device connects to the internet, all that information is, in a way, blurred out. Surfshark is particularly useful for keeping you safe if you use public Wi-Fi, such as a college or a cafe. Surfshark allows you to use one subscription on unlimited devices, meaning that you can even share an account with friends and family. On top of this, Surfshark offers a 30-day money-back guarantee, so if you don't like it, you can even get your money back. Our sign-up offer gives you Surfshark VPN for just over €2 per month and up to 4 months free. Why not scan the QR code on screen or use the link in the description to take advantage of this offer. Right, my friends, as promised, we are back, and thank you again to our incredible sponsors, Surfshark. I want to talk about Federico Chiesa for a moment. Before I do, though, I have a super chat to get to before I forget that one. Hey, Craig, do you reckon we'll actually get Rodrigo? No, but it isn't out of the realms of possibility. Let me kind of give you the long version of it. Liverpool tried to sign Rodrigo when he was still, I don't know if it was Sao Paulo, Santos, can't remember which club he was at the time in Brazil. And Liverpool almost had a $2.5 million deal. Rodrigo decided to stay a little bit longer, continue his studies, and ended up at Real Madrid. So Michael Edwards and Liverpool have been a fan for quite a while. Now, the reason I'm going to say no to you straight away is, where does he play? You know, his natural position or his more favoured position at Real Madrid is coming in off that right-hand side. Well, we know we have a certain Mohamed Salah on that side, but he has played centrally as well, Rodrigo. So I'm not going to say it's impossible, but it would be a surprise to me for Liverpool to invest what Real Madrid would likely be asking there for Rodrigo. But he is a player that I know Michael Edwards anyway admires, and the club have been keeping tabs on for a long time. I just don't see where the natural fit is personally, as much as I'd love Rodrigo. We'll get to those reports though over the course of the evening. Corbin said Chiesa and Craig in goal for Yamal. Who says no? I mean, absolutely. I'd have saved that. No, I wouldn't. Yamal's just amazing, mate. Absolutely amazing. Right, let's talk about Chiesa. So Lewis Steele reporting, and you can find this on the Anfield Agenda X account, said, I am told that Chiesa's performance at Plymouth in the FA Cup really concerned the coaching staff. It was not good enough, and that set him back somewhat. Now, I can understand that from the coaching staff, but I do feel it's unfair because he wasn't the only one to underperform that day. And if you're going to measure Chiesa when he's playing with backup players, that also feels a little bit harsh. But in saying that, I don't see what Arne Slot, Sipka Hulshoff and Johnny Heidinga see on the training pitch every day. I don't know. You know, maybe they're not impressed with other aspects, but it certainly feels a little bit harsh if that was his chance. Remember, he did come on and do damage for us previously, score an important goal as well. I just don't get it personally if that's the chance, but it is what it is, and Lewis Steele's reporting has been pretty good around it, to be honest with you. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think about that one. Too harsh on Federico? Want to move on to Stefan Bajcetic next. Again, sticking with Lewis Steele. Stefan Bajcetic will be given a chance to prove himself in the pre-season tour this summer. No decision has been made on his longer-term future yet, but he is definitely not earmarked for sale. So that's good news for me. I'm a Stefan Bajcetic fan, looking forward to seeing him in pre-season. And I hope he can win Arne around, because I think he could be the extra body in there to give Ryan Gravenberch a bit of a break occasionally. Player that's already at the club as well, so we wouldn't have to go out and spend money. It's the Elliott situation that I find interesting for a couple of reasons. So the link I was speaking about just before we played the ad from Surfshark was, I think it was TBR Football, who say that Liverpool or Fulham are exploring a deal that would see Harvey Elliott go back to Fulham and Anthony Robinson come in. And again, I just can't see that being the case. I'm not saying Elliott wouldn't be open to a move back to Fulham. He very well may be. But I just don't see Anthony Robinson being the solution for Liverpool, because there's no longevity to it. There's no denying he's a very good player, but I just don't see it personally. But I want to know what you guys think on it, so let me know in the comments. Again, appreciate all your support. Two things I want to say really quickly. One, for the first time in our channel's history, we've just had metrics for channels are measured in 28-day periods on YouTube. Don't know why, but they are. For the first time ever, our channel has passed 7 million views inside that 28-day period. Today, we clicked to 7.1 million views in 28 days. And that is a gobsmacking number. So I just want to again say a huge thank you to everybody for your support. Connor's doing great work with the shorts and stuff up on the channel as well. So again, from all of us, thank you, thank you, thank you. Secondly, The Cork show, as promised, we've been working away in the background on it, and we're very close to booking it in. We're going to be looking at Friday, the 8th of August, the day before the Community Shield, and it will be at Cypress Avenue if things go to plan in Cork. We've been working away behind the scenes trying to get that. We're very close to getting it officially booked in. So Cork, as promised, we could be down there on the 8th of August for a Friday night show, and hope you guys can come along and join us. We'll give you full confirmation of when that is booked. The shows that we currently do have on offer, of course, are the two in Liverpool on the last day of the season, May 25th, and 3 days later, May 28th. And again, the tickets are absolutely flying for both of them. So thank you to everyone that's already got their tickets for either of the shows. Really blown away by the support. They're both on to become our biggest ever shows. So again, wouldn't hang around. The tickets are doing really well for these ones, and thank you to everyone that's got them so far. Right, let's talk Hugo. Hugo Ekitike, according to Lewis Steele, is one to watch. Now, he rules out Liam Delap and Matthias Cunha and said they can be ruled out. And that makes sense to me. Victor Osimhen, he said, has been linked, but he's not heard anything on that one, and nor have I, to be honest. The only links I've seen are more trying to get interest in Victor Osimhen or get that sale from Napoli. I don't think Victor Osimhen is a good fit, personally. Matthias Cunha, look, I think Liverpool and Arsenal would have looked at that and thought, with the price tag on his head, yes, a very good player, but questions around the temperament. And of course, United are hovering around there as well. Liam Delap, the reason I don't think you're going to see him really linked to a move to Liverpool is, as I've mentioned previously, looking like Chelsea are the ones that are going to make the big play for Liam Delap. So we're starting to figure out who Liverpool can rule out now. And according to Lewis Steele, anyway, Hugo Ekitike does seem to be the priority at this point. For me, personally, I'd absolutely love for Liverpool to somehow find a way to get Julian Alvarez. Michael said, you're very welcome, Craig. That's absolutely amazing to pass that many views. Who won't want to come and watch the best YouTuber on here? Look, mate, I amn't the best YouTuber or even close to it. But 7 million views in 28 days is absolutely incredible. It's pretty much doubled upon what we were at a year ago. So I don't even know what to say except thank you again. What have we got? That's brilliant, mate. Much love from Sydney, Australia. Thank you, man. Appreciate you. Harry said, what was the most important LFC Premier League goal? Oh, God. What was the most important one? I mean, it depends how you want to look at it. Like, my mind is immediately going to Macca's goal last weekend, because that's the one that, for me, underlined we were doing it that day. We'd already equalised the Diaz, but Macca's goal was the one for me that just meant we weren't going to be stopped that day. The week before, Virgil's lay header as well against West Ham. That's another one that jumps into my mind, because, again, that was a we will not be denied moment. This is going to be our trophy. But other suggestions, yeah, let me know in the chat. Corbin said, deserve every penny, mate. Well, financially, actually, because some of the views are from shorts, they're not profitable views. And I don't really ever really worry about the money of the channel, to be honest. We're certainly doing okay in that regard. I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't know how to answer these questions, because, of course, I have to keep some stuff private and some stuff. But look, we're never going to be millionaires. Never. I don't want to be a millionaire, in all honesty. It's never. I don't want that much attention on myself. But look, it's given me the ability to fulfill my dream, hopefully, which is to buy this house. And I don't deserve it. I don't. But we're there, and we're going to keep plugging on and keep doing our thing and see what happens. You know, I think the channel certainly gaining traction and momentum as we move forward, and I'm just happy for that, because it is about these moments for me. It's about sharing them with you guys. It's about doing the live shows. It's about getting to meet you all and say thank you in person. These are the things that mean more to me than the financial sides of it, because I'm a simple dude, honestly. You know, I need what I need, which is my herbal infusions, you know, enough food in the fridge for the kids, the lights on in the house, and yeah, good to go. I'm a simple dude. Let's talk Jarell Kwanzaa for a little bit. Jarell Kwanzaa would command a big fee, but teams are keen, and this would depend on replacements. And that again coming from Lewis Steele. And like I've said to you guys many times, some of the things that I'm going to say are going to be things that people won't agree with. And I understand that. But remember, the things that I say are the things that I've been told. And I've said for a while now that there is a question mark around Jarell Quansah's future at Liverpool. And I think it's an understandable question mark. I'm not saying he will leave or he won't leave. And I'm not saying he is good enough or he isn't good enough. I truly don't know. But he is potentially available depending on what other things happen. Another name to keep an eye on with regards to a potential outgoing is Joe Gomez. Joe Gomez could look for a move away as well. The priority for me has to be getting Canade sorted out. Because if Liverpool get Canade sorted out, then that makes the centre-back situation a little bit less volatile, is probably the right word. And I wonder what number Liverpool would do business at with Jarell Quansah. Now, you're going to hear stuff that says Liverpool have no interest in selling. But of course, they're hardly going to come out and say they want rid of him, are they? So let's wait and see how it plays out. I think you're going to look at a bid upwards of 40 million for Liverpool to give it any consideration, personally. I think, if I remember correctly, back to last summer, there was a conversation that Liverpool were valuing him at around 50 to 60 million. So let's just wait and see. Huijsen, said Alex Macklin. Yes, we're definitely in the mix for that one. What I will say is, and again, Lewis Steele has said this, and it's fair and it's respectful, Liverpool will not be advancing any deals with Bournemouth for Huijsen, Kerkez or Semenyo while the Cherries are still in the mix for European qualification. And I think that's more than fair. You know, I got annoyed on behalf of Bournemouth fans today because Evan Nielsen's red card was overturned. You know, the one where he slipped and challenged the United player. The ref was sent to VAR and he was sent off. But that's no good to Bournemouth now, because those 2 points could very well be the difference between Bournemouth qualifying for Europe or not. And now, what good is the red card being overturned to them? The damage has been done to their season. And once again, the PGMOL and their officials have potentially cost another club tens of millions of quid. And whoopsies, we've overturned it. That's no good. They can't get the points back that they were screwed out of. They conceded a very late equaliser and they were well ahead in the game and put United to the sword. It just feels hollow, again, this situation. And again, listening to or at least hearing what journalists and media and pundits have said, there was no mention of his left foot slipping in that challenge either from the VAR, which is shocking because that's what caused the challenge to end up the way it did. So yeah, I really do feel for Bournemouth in that one. And I can understand Liverpool being respectful of wanting to let their season, you know, come to its conclusion, at least in the European chase, before making a play for any of the players. To me, that's understandable, but let me know what you think. Mahmood reckons 40 million for Jarell Quansah. Sid said, are you streaming tomorrow night? The plan is to not stream. The plan is to take it off because, of course, there's 2 English sides in action, 3 if you include Chelsea, tomorrow in European action. And I know a lot of people are going to be hate watching Athletic Club Bilbao, against United. So we probably won't stream tomorrow. No, we'll probably put out a couple of videos and not do a live stream. Right, let's talk Alisson. So Taffarel has been speaking a little bit about Alisson's future, and he said, Ali wants to continue living this story. I saw this wave of Saudi opportunities, very high offers. But he always said, I want to continue this story because I owe a lot to them here and I want to continue this life here. So it looks like Alisson Becker very firmly wants to stay at Liverpool Football Club, which is, of course, music to all of our ears. Would love to see Rodrigo in a red shirt, said Haris, and I will move on to speak about him in a moment, mate, don't worry. What's the JOTA news? Again, mate, one thing at a time, bear with me. You know, I'm going through the process bit by bit and then we'll recap, but I have just a tier list of things I'm going down through, so just bear with me. It's easier for me if I can keep it in chronological order, because otherwise I'll get confused and miss stuff, but I promise you we will get to it. Let's talk about Maka for a second. So there's lots of stories now coming out of Spain about the interest in Alexis McAllister from Real Madrid. And the stories are always backed up with a really stupidly low price. So this here said, breaking, Real Madrid are reportedly ready to launch a 90 million euro offer, which is about, what, 78 million pound, to sign Alexis McAllister from Liverpool. They see him as the perfect replacement for Luka Modric. Now, look, first things first, we're not going to sell him. So Real Madrid can do one. But secondly, he's worth a hell of a lot more than 78 million pound. What we paid for him here is irrelevant because we knew there was a clause in his contract at Brighton. But Alexis McAllister is, and I don't think I'm exaggerating to say this, 100 million plus pound midfielder. That's my view on it. If we're talking Declan Rice, if we're talking Enzo Fernandez, then I'm putting him in the same bracket of 100 million plus midfielder. If Brighton are asking that much for Baleba and whatnot, then I think Alexis McAllister is 100 to 120 million pound midfielder. But we're not selling him. And that's the really important part here. So Real Madrid can do one and go and look elsewhere, because I promise you, Liverpool will not be selling Alexis McAllister this summer to Madrid or anywhere else. Nor does Alexis want to go. You know, yes, he's spoken about La Liga in the future. And who knows, maybe he does move there to play in La Liga in a few years' time. But right now, he's at a football club that he loves playing for, that he's just won a big trophy with. And he's going to want to go back and win the Champions League with Liverpool and complete that set of Premier League, World Cup, Copa America, throw in the Champions League there. And I think we can say Alexis is happy. And the man himself has spoken about what a pleasure it is to play for Liverpool Football Club. So yes, they can do one, basically. Maka is a 100 million plus player for sure, said Haris. Scotty reckons 150 million. Jay Mew said, not a chance Maka would leave after seeing his emotions this week for the club. You know, for me, he's next in line for the captaincy, in my eyes, Alexis McAllister. That would be my choice. You know, let's say in a couple of years' time, if Virgil and Mo see out their deals and they both moved on, Alexis McAllister would be the one for me to step up, or at least be promoted into that vice captain club, or whatever you want to call it, at the end of the season, because he shows leadership for me on that pitch week after week. Right, let's talk about a big bit of developing story from Fabrizio Romano around Liverpool and our interest in Morgan Rogers. So this is a quote from Romano. I think he was speaking for Gimme Sport, if I remember correctly. Said Liverpool have sent their scouts several times to follow Morgan Rogers. Liverpool will monitor his progress and keep an eye on developments in case of surprise movements or potential exits. A deal for Rodgers is seen as complicated by Liverpool. And that's because, of course, Aston Villa won't want to lose him. The only way Liverpool maybe have a chance there, I think, is if Villa miss out on Champions League football and PSR rears its ugly head and maybe Villa are forced into a sale or two. Other than that, I don't really see a situation where Liverpool could force the hand. Now, if Rodgers wanted to move on, maybe that's a different situation. But it's just confirmation, like I've said to you a couple of weeks ago, that Liverpool are keeping an eye on Morgan Rogers, and he is a player that Liverpool are looking at should a Harvey Elliott or an advancing midfielder move on. The likes of Morgan Rogers' name has been mentioned as a target that Liverpool are looking towards. That's all I would say on that one. Right. Now let's get to my promise to Haris a minute ago about Diogo JOTA. So here we go, bro. This one's for you. So we said Liverpool... excuse me, let me give you who it's from. Caught Offside have said, Liverpool are willing to listen to offers of around 50 to 55 million euro, which is about what? 42 to 48 million pound this summer for Diogo Jota. Wolves, Newcastle, Aston Villa, Al Ittihad, Al Nasser and Al Hilal are all interested in the Portuguese forward. So I'm wondering, is the transfer picture now with regards to attackers starting to come a little bit clearer? It looks as if Diaz isn't going anywhere based off comments from yesterday and the fact that Liverpool are about to sit down to try renegotiate and get him an improved deal. And I think that makes sense. But I've always said if I was picking two forwards that I'd like to see Liverpool sell this summer, Darwin Núñez and Diogo Jota are the two names at the top of my list. And if Liverpool can bring in 40, 45 million pound for Diogo Jota, honestly, I think we'd be foolish not to take it. That's just my opinion on it. Feel free to let me know in the comments if you think you would take 40, 45 million pound for Diogo Jota. I would, and I think that money could be reinvested in a player who, one, at least would have more availability for Diogo and potentially a longer future at the club as well. So that's my take on it. I would take the money for him if it was on offer, and I would reinvest it. Which is a difficult one to say because he's a likeable man, certainly pops up in some important goals, but I always ask myself, is there going to be a world where I see a player, and in this case Diogo, playing 30 Premier League games for us through the middle as a number 9? And the answer is no. I don't, because his body won't allow him to do it. And that's the sad part. Consistency is key. Arne Slot has always spoken about the fact that he doesn't like to over-rotate. He likes a core group of players. He likes a strong spine of a team. And I think Diogo won't fall into that category. So if somebody's willing to put down pretty much what we paid for him, I think, if my memory's right, I think we sell. Corbin said, if Diaz isn't going, does Gakpo? I don't think so. Look, I mean, I think you can make a valid argument to not rock the boat there. Look, if Diaz wants out, that's a different situation. But if you're Liverpool and looking at it right now, you've got 2 left wingers there that give you 2 different things and are both really good. You know, Diaz is probably better at going past his man, taking on a player, and Cody Gakpo's probably got a little bit more end product. So, yeah, look, I don't see the need to rock the boat there. If the club can agree an extension with Diaz and he's happy, certainly not looking like he's getting older or anything. So I, again, think just rebuild through the middle and leave the left side as it is with 2 very good options. Now, if he does move on, maybe we look at the Anthony Gordon situation again. I don't know. But for now, it looks like the more likely combination of the forward sold would be Diogo and Darwin. But we'll have to wait and see. Eddie said, I would quite happily sell Diogo. Well, that's going to give me the first poll of the night. My man, let me ask this one. So let's say 40 million, just for argument's sake. Okay. So I'm just going to ask, would you sell Jota for £40 million? Yes or no? So we'll leave that one running and we'll come back to it in a few minutes. But let me know what you guys think. Come on. Come on, poll. Why aren't you working? I don't know why this poll isn't working. For some reason, I'm just getting a spinning wheel on the poll. Bear with me. What is going on with the chat? Okay. Now, there we go. Put that back in. That's really weird. The chat's not working for me unless I pop it out. 1 second. So we'll try this again. Okay, we'll try it again. Right, would you sell Jota for 40 million? Hopefully it works this time. Grand. There we go. Now she's working. So vote away on that one, folks. Apologies. I don't know why my system... It's still not working properly. This is so weird. Yeah, chat's only working for me when I pop it out. So I'm going to leave it popped out. There we go. Right. So we'll come back to that in a few minutes. There we go. Sweet. Apologies on that one. So yeah, Eddie said, I do apologise for my spelling. I'm dyslexic. Eddie, don't ever apologise for anything like that, my man. You should see the state of my spelling. Even worse, Eddie, you should see the state of my handwriting. It's shocking. Absolutely shocking. Stevie Boy said Liverpool should go all out for Alvarez. Get it done. I'm with you, Stevie Boy. Definitely. I would be all over it. Especially if they have any interest whatsoever in Darwin Núñez. I would be very much putting down 40 to 50 million even on top of Darwin Núñez for Julian Alvarez. I big admirer of his. Alex said Jota will go to Saudi Arabia. I don't know. He's spoken, at least some comments I've seen attributed to him or to his camp have talked about him wanting to go to play in Europe, as in a club that's competing in European competition. So we'll have to wait and see if he does fancy the idea of a move to Saudi or not. I don't know. Maybe he could get on the blower to Ronaldo and Ronaldo could talk him into it. But for me, I don't really mind where players go. If Liverpool feel it's time to move them on, whatever suits the player, I'm all good with that. Right, let's talk Rodrigo. So, Madrid Extra and many other accounts today have been speaking about the fact that Rodrigo is considering leaving Real Madrid. And other accounts have said that Real Madrid are willing to sell Rodrigo. Anfield Sector then quote tweeted Madrid Extra saying Michael Edwards loves him, which is true. I've said to you guys at the start of the stream that Michael Edwards tried to bring him to Liverpool before he went to Real Madrid. And Liverpool have long been admirers. But the problem that I would have right now is, where does he play if Liverpool were to sign him? And do we need to invest that much money? Like, if Salah hadn't signed a new deal, there's an obvious connection we could make there. But right now, I don't know. I just don't see it. I don't see the need to bring in another right winger. Let me know what you think on it, but for me, I just don't see the need for it. That much of an outlay. We need somebody central, unless they want to move Mo central, in which case I'd be all for that as well, because I've been arguing Mo should be tried centrally for quite a while. I want to move on to speak a little bit about Ben Doak in a moment as well, because it looks like his future's up in the air. Hey Craig, assuming we buy Kirkes, Huijsen, a right back, and Hugo, do you think we win the league title next year? If not, who do we have to go and sign with? It's impossible for me to give you an answer that I feel any confidence in, because again, it depends on how Rodri comes back at Manchester City, what business Manchester City and Arsenal do, how much of an impact the Club World Cup would have on the likes of City and Chelsea. But from our perspective, those signings that you've made, I don't see why not. I certainly would sit here feeling we can go and win the league next year with those signings. Yeah, I wouldn't see a reason why not, unless we had major injury concerns or something like that. But yeah, those signings would be very good indeed. Right, let's check back in on the poll on Diogo Jota and see how that one's going. So the question is, would you sell Diogo Jota for £40 million, which is kind of in and around the number being mentioned? Yes or no? And we'll come back to that one in a moment. Right, what's this? Get Darwin out of the club, said Zemo. Look, I've lost any goodwill I had towards Darwin after that social media post the day before the last game of the season, but it is what it is. So Radio Marca saying multiple top European clubs want Rodrigo. His current plan is to leave Real Madrid. The destination is still unknown. Where do you think he ends up, Rodrigo, if he leaves Real Madrid? Just out of curiosity. Who needs a player in that position in top clubs around Europe? Can't see him going to Italy, personally. The only club in Germany that could really afford him maybe would be Bayern. Outside of that, Premier League clubs, Arsenal certainly don't need a player in that position. They've got Saka there. Manchester City, well, they've invested in wide players previously. They brought in Savinho. They have Doku on the other side. I don't know. I'm again just struggling to see where he goes or who'd pony up the dough. Maybe Atletico Madrid. I don't know, but would he want to cross the city divide? Honestly, I can't think. Chelsea, yeah, Stevie boy. Chelsea's probably a fair shout. Yeah, it doesn't matter how many players are in there; they seemingly always find a way to try to bring in more. Yeah, so that's probably a decent show. There's no way he goes to Saudi Arabia. I can't see Rodrigo at this stage of his career going to Saudi Arabia. He would, yeah, I can't see it. I think if he's angling for a move away from Madrid, it's because he's not happy with the game time, probably. So I certainly think he still has aspirations to win stuff. Oh, Alex just said Inter Milan 3. So what's the score at the minute? Alex said PSG. Again, though, do they need him? You know, look at the dearth of wide, young, and especially young, wide talent that they have there. But they could afford him. That's certainly one thing I'd agree with you on, mate. They could certainly afford him. Carl said PSG as well. Kev Parker said, if United win the Europa League, then they'll have the money. No, they won't. They won't have the money to buy Rodrigo, mate. You're talking out of United's price bracket there. Remember, they already have massive financial headaches. United are about to lay off 200 more staff, according to reports. Some of these links that United have had to players have been fanciful, to say the least, recently. And they are banking on maybe moving on the likes of Rashford, or I don't know if they're still interested in selling Garnacho. They're going to want to move on either Højlund or Xerxes. But is that going to be enough of a pot to really do what they need to do? And look, fingers crossed they don't win the Europa League. That's, I'm very much going to be cheering on Athletic Club Bilbao. Oh, Inter 3-2 now. Wow. It looked like that game was only going one way after Barca got it back to 2-2. What a first half of football that was. Incredible. Gumi said, Barcola, excuse me, apparently wants out of PSG because he's not getting enough game time. I don't want Bradley Barcola, but I'm not saying, Gumi, you were saying we should sign him, but I'm just saying he's too inconsistent. He misses too many chances, Barcola. I wouldn't want him at Liverpool, personally. But let me know what you guys think on that one. Did I miss one? Yeah, I think I did. Let me get back to you. Mohammed. Sorry, mate. I thought I'd missed one, but I want to get back and make sure I read it out. Do you think that our budget for transfers is less now that Salah and VVD sign new deals? Of course. Yes, 100%. But I think that's just common sense. You know, that's going to have taken a hit to the kitty of money. But it won't have stalled the business, because either way, if they left, we'd have to have replaced them. So I would just say that maybe the money that was potentially earmarked for those positions has been somewhat taken up with those new contracts. But it still means we need a left back, we need a centre back, we may need a right back. And on the trend stuff, I've done as much digging as I can. And again, I'm going to say there are people, a lot of people far better placed than me to give you this information. But speaking to some people, I still think he would. I would say I'm 95% sure Trent leaves at this point. Nobody really has got anything other than reading between the lines and hoping as information that he might stay. The Linda Putzi stuff, I don't understand those googly eye emojis either. It just feels like he's going to move on, and nothing has changed from David Ornstein's perspective, as he's mentioned. He did say maybe the door is slightly ajar. Fabrizio Romano still thinks he's moving on, and the people that I'm speaking to aren't holding out much hope that Trent changes his mind either. So what's 3-3 now? Who scored? I can't keep up, lads. Goals all over the shop. It's tied again. Wow. Summer OG, somebody's saying. That's nuts. Inter scored an own goal. That's 53 seconds between them. That's crazy. Shane, I believe Cunha deal will happen, especially if we win the Europa League. Gonna probably Garnacho probably will be sold, unfortunately. We need to sell Rashi, Casemiro and Anthony. Yeah, you do. And again, I'm sure, I don't know, I've no idea what you could get for Casemiro. Even going to Saudi, I wouldn't have a clue. I don't know his contract situation, Shane. Garnacho, he had been linked to Chelsea, I think. I don't follow United transfers as closely as your good self, Shane, obviously. But I think he had been linked with Chelsea in the past, if my memory's right. And I think the Cunha deal will happen. Absolutely. I do agree with you on that one. I think you guys will get him. But the likes of a Rodrigo or that, I think he's not going to buy into the Ruben Amorim project. He's a bit further along than project, I think. But Cunha looks like that's a decent fit. If Trent was staying, he could have announced it when we won the league, but he didn't. He's had the whole league to sort it out. Well, when you even see Kenny Dalglish kind of speaking about if Trent departs, he should go with a thank you and la la la. Do you know who keeps getting forgotten about? Fans. And, whoever I see talking about this, they talk about what Trent has given the club, what Trent has achieved. But they keep forgetting what fans have done for him, and the support that has allowed Trent to flourish. And we keep being told how to feel. And I don't like it. I'm not saying you should feel one way or the other. This is why I'm not sitting here telling you how to feel. But I don't like anybody trying to tell anyone how to feel about it. If players move on, yeah, it happens. And I think for a lot of people, it's the fact he'll be doing it for free that is stinging the most. Right, let's move on to... Hang on, what's that one? I've done that one. Right, let's move on to Harvey Elliott. We haven't spoken about Harvey Elliott. So, Harvey Elliott has been speaking with the Echo, and this is what he had to say. I hope that I can push on next season. This is my team. I'm committed to them, and it's just a situation that is always going to have a lot of talk. I just need to think about what's best for my future. Following on from that, he said, hopefully I'm still here, to be honest, next season. It is the best place to be, the best club to be at, and especially having the fans around us at the moment, I don't think there was a better place to be playing. It breaks my heart, the idea that Elliott may be sold in the summer, because you can clearly see a fella there that wants to stay and play at Liverpool Football Club. But if the manager doesn't think he's the right fit for the way the manager wants to play, I can understand that as well. But certainly going to be sad if he moves on for me. I'm going to feel pretty disappointed in it. But again, I do want the manager to get the players that he wants, and I'm not going to be a hypocrite about that. I've said that all the way through. Scout Stewart said, well said, Craig. If it was a local lad playing for their club, they'd be exactly the same as us. Exactly. It does feel a bit snidey the way it's worked out. And like I've said before, I don't think Real Madrid have any interest in Trent if they had to pay a transfer fee, a significant transfer fee for him. Which makes me feel like this has been in the works for a while. But, again, we don't know what he's doing. We've been told yesterday that nobody has signed any contracts yet. So the ink isn't on a deal. And until the ink is on the deal, I guess everybody's still unsure. But there was a report yesterday again that said Madrid are going to ask Liverpool if they will release Trent early for the Club World Cup. So I don't know at this point. I just know I'm tired of it. And you're all tired of it, I'm sure. Kev said, you can have all the passion in the world, mate, but if Slot doesn't want you on your bike, yeah, look, I think that's fair. A manager lives and dies by his decisions like that, with regard to their job, I mean. And if a manager just doesn't fancy a player, no matter what I feel or anybody else feels, it's his decision. He's earned the right to make that decision, particularly after winning a league title. And in all honesty, also, it's wound me up at times this season, knowing that Chiesa and Elliott are on the bench and going to get minimal, if any, opportunities. That has wound me up, because it's just squad places we're wasting and money that's going out the door for players that aren't going to get the opportunity to show what they can do. So what we mentioned at the very start of the stream about Chiesa and that game against Plymouth being the one that has apparently concerned coaching staff, I can't help but feel that that's really harsh, because we didn't show up that day as a team. And yes, Chiesa should have been able to do a lot better. And his stats that day were shocking. But he should have had more opportunities after that, in my opinion. More proper opportunities surrounded by the first team players. So we haven't spoken about Jarell Hatto. Lewis Steele, again reporting on this one, said Jarell Hatto at Ajax has also been mooted, but talk around him has cooled somewhat recently, although Virgil van Dijk is said to be a big fan. So again, hasn't said that Jarell Hatto definitely isn't going to happen or anything, but talk has cooled. I don't know if it's just because there's been so much talk over Kirkes and Huijsen and stuff like that, that maybe, Liverpool feel like he's not quite ready yet to come in or something. I don't know, but certainly at least an update on Jarell Hatto, because a lot of people have been asking what the latest was with him, and I hadn't heard anything. So when I read that today, I thought I'd best let you guys know. I wonder how much Liverpool might ask for an early release for Trent. So I think they won't ask any money, Carl. I think they'll either say yes or no. They either let him go early or they won't. But I don't think he'll be given an easy out. Because remember, that was what that January offer was about. It was about trying to say, well, at least he didn't leave for free. He would have, 20 million or whatever the offer was. So I don't think Liverpool are gonna give him that out either. So I think if they say yes, I think they just let him go because our season's over at that point anyway. Or if they say no, then they say no. But either way, I don't think it'll come down to an amount of money, personally. Right, let's check back in on our poll. There we are. So we're up to about almost 670 votes. So keep voting away. We'll leave it up. It's pretty much a landslide, by the way. And we're basically just asking, would you sell Diogo Jota for the £40 million asking price that apparently is the number? Sorry, still knackered. Still catching up on sleep after the league title win. 4-3 Inter now, is it really? Wow. What a game. I know I shouldn't be urging people off away from the stream or anything, but 4-3 is nuts. Mark said he could buy himself out of the contract. Yeah, but I mean, again, that just looked really snide. And I don't think he's going to do that either. I've always said, VAR ruled it out, still 3-3. This is going to be a battle for hearts and minds all the way through this. And I don't think it's dragged out this long for that to have happened. So no, I don't think he'll buy himself out of it either, because that will look even worse on him than leaving the club. Like buying yourself out of the deal for what would be a relatively small amount of money anyway, it wouldn't be worth the backlash. Dave said, even if we get 10 million for Trent, at least we won't have the lads on sandwiches next season. I look, I don't think at this point we're going to bring in any money from him. But it's not my decision to make, If Liverpool were offered a few million quid, do they take it? Don't they take it? That's an internal decision. I'm fed up with the whole situation. I want it dealt with and over ASAP. Actually, so we didn't talk yet about Arsenal last night against Paris Saint-Germain. Let's have a bit of a conversation around that one, if you don't mind, because certainly it looked like Arsenal underestimated them to me. I know Arsenal beat them earlier on, I think, this season in the Champions League with no Dembele or whatever in the team, but I just felt like Arsenal either overthought that game last night or were caught cold, because PSG were swarming them for the first 15-20, absolutely all over them. Donnarumma made some very good saves. I'm thinking particularly the one from Trossard. He got down really well, touched that around the post. But I can't see them beating them in Paris. I can't. You can say to me, well, they went over to Madrid, Craig, and won at the Bernabeu, but they already had a commanding lead and confidence going into that one. I don't know if it was just me, but watching that game last night, I heard more of those PSG Ultra fans than I did of the Arsenal fans. And imagine what that's going to be intensified there. And they won't play to defend a 1-0 lead, PSG. That's just not the way that they play under Enrique. They're going to want to continue to do what they do, which is swarm all over teams and put the game to bed. So for me, that's I would have it 70% PSG getting to the final, 30% Arsenal. That's kind of my gauge of it. Not impossible. A 1-0 deficit, as we've seen the reverse. We won in Paris and then lost at home. So, but I just don't think Arsenal have the firepower to do it to PSG. Kev said, Craig, I don't think I've ever seen so many players and managers trying to get the fans to do anything. Yeah, there was lots of those moments, wasn't there? Martinelli, Trossard, and a few others trying to get the fans going, but they need to give the fans something to be shouting about as well. And I just think they underestimated PSG, in my opinion. PSG's midfield is so slick, isn't it? Vitinha, João Neves, just Ruiz, just ridiculously good. The way that they move the ball, it's done quickly, it's done strategically, it's done bravely. It's it really, like, I underestimated them when we were going to play them. 100% I underestimated them. But I knew after 20 minutes that I'd underestimated them. And I'm just seeing that offside decision now. Oh my goodness, that's close. You're talking a toe. Ouch. David Newell said Arteta is just a shit manager. Odegaard is overrated. Name another captain that gets taken off in pretty much every game. I can't disagree on Odegaard. He was shocking. And we know Martin Odegaard's a better footballer than we've been seeing. But last night, that was not a captain's performance. You're right. Declan Rice was the only one really trying to lead that team, in my opinion, last night. But yeah, for Odegaard to not show up and be subbed off, I mean, I can't argue what you've said. With regards to Arteta, I just think PSG are a better side. You know, if they win the Champions League this year, absolutely deserved. We were beaten by penalties, obviously, against them, but over the two legs, I think fair to say PSG were probably slightly the better side. And Arsenal, I spoke to a few Arsenal fans, and they all said the same thing. They'd want to be taking a 1 or 2 goal lead over to Paris. Now they're taking a 1 goal deficit. It just, I can't see it turning around for them. But it is football, and anything can happen. A red card early doors, anything like that. But yeah, that PSG team, they are impressive. Dave said I watched PSG play City and I knew how good they were. Yeah, you see, I was arrogant, Dave. I'm not gonna lie, man. I was arrogant. I dismissed them. But I won't do it again because that is a much better team than the one that had Neymar, Messi, Mbappe, and that sounds crazy to say, but they are a better team, a better squad, a better group than those players because they work harder. Birmingham's broken the league's points record with 108 points now. Wow, that's incredible. You know what they've done. Well, I suppose the money that's behind Birmingham and the money that's behind Wrexham, and they're going to go big again. I've heard stories that Birmingham are looking to build a 62,000-seater stadium and redo that a quarter or that area of Birmingham and kind of use the model of the Etihad campus, but better. So ambitious owners at Birmingham. Obviously, we know ambitious owners at Wrexham as well. What's your view on who gets the Europa League final? Spurs and I think United do it because the second leg is at Old Trafford, but they need to do something tomorrow in Bilbao. You know, they can afford a defeat, but they can't afford a defeat by 2 or more, I think. It's going to be interesting because remember the final is in Bilbao as well, so Bilbao have that carrot dangled in front of them. And it may depend on what Bruno Fernandes is able to do as well because he's been carrying that United team this season, if you can say they've been carried. But yeah, I think it's a close tie over the two legs, and with the second leg being at Old Trafford, I'm kind of 55-45 in United's favour. But I'll be a very interested spectator tomorrow to see the first leg. And Bodo Glimt, what an incredible run that's been. But I mean, Spurs won't have a better chance of getting to another European final than playing Bodo Glimt over two legs in the semi-final, with all due respect to Norway and the Norwegian League. It is an incredible achievement if they've gotten this far. Beat Lazio on penalties, I believe, as well, over in Italy. Just think that's going to be the end for them, unless Spurs shit the bed. And it is Spurs, so you never know. Mbappe leaves PSG and they turn good. Joins Madrid and they turn shy. It is funny. It is funny in that regard. I see Rudiger was given a 6-game ban for throwing the thing at the referee, but Jude Bellingham's red card was overturned or something. So Antonio Rudiger's facing a 6-game ban. Those scenes were disgusting, by the way, in the Copa final. It was horrible. Right, let's go. Have we got everyone with the poll? Right, we're up to 820 votes now. I'm going to end the poll because it's so one-sided either way. But after 820 odd votes, we asked you, would you sell Diogo Jota for £40 million? And as you can see, 84% of people said yes, they would sell Diogo Jota for £40 million. So I think people certainly have the mindset that that's a good enough number. And I'd be in that camp as well, to be honest. Can you go through each position and say who your ideal signing would be? I can try, Owen. I can give it a go, mate. Right back. Oh, I can rule out a right back for you. Frimpong isn't on our radar, by the way. That's information I'm holding back for the late video, but I'd like to give you a little insight on it. Yeah, he's a name that you can rule out of joining Liverpool. So Frimpong won't be happening at right back. So at right back, I do think the likes of the 27-year-old Romanian guy, or somebody who we don't talk about or maybe don't even know, is a likely candidate at right back. Somebody to come in to back up Bradley, but be a versatile and solid enough player that if Bradley's out for a prolonged period, that we'd be okay. So whether that's like that guy Rechu or somebody else, we'll wait and see. Left back, I mean, I hope it's Kirkes. If it's like Nuri, I'll be okay with that, but a little bit more disappointed than if it was Kirkes. If it ends up being Anthony Robinson, I mean, I'll be happy because he's a decent player, but again, I'll be thinking, where's the long-term strategy there? Particularly if it's Costas that gets sold, because then you've got Robbo and Anthony Robinson, one 31, 32 and 128. So I'd still say Kirkes. In midfield, if Elliott moves on, I'm trying to figure out, I mean, look, Morgan Rogers is the name that I'd want, but it's trying to figure out where Liverpool are willing to invest the money. So when we talk about forwards, I think it's going to be money we bring in with a bit on top. But in certain positions, we're going to have a premium on that position and probably going to have to pay a premium price for somebody. For me, that's where you pay the 50 million for Huijsen and Kirkes. You pay the premiums there because, well, we need them and they're worth the premiums. But up front, if you could get 50 million for Darwin and spend 60 million or 65 million on a Kitike, that's not a huge outlay. If you can get 40 million for Jota and go out there and bring in, again, not really knowing who, but another player for 40 or 50 million euro, that's not a huge outlay again. So what other position am I forgetting? Striker Julian Alvarez is my number one target, 100%, but I don't know how realistic that is, given that Leddy said that they weren't going to sell. Do you think we could revive Lamptey's career? Don't know. Honestly, yeah. So it kind of caught me off guard there a little bit with that one. Look, I've always liked Harry Lamptey. If my memory's right, I think he came through Chelsea's academy. A Cobham, if I'm mistaken on that, I apologise, but I think he did. Obviously, Brighton then. Always had something about him, Tariq Lamptey, but yeah, I'm genuinely don't know. It's a good shout, but I've no idea. It's not a name I've heard mentioned, but we tend to talk about people as Liverpool fans a lot, and we end up signing somebody that none of us have discussed. So who knows? Imagine Arsenal fans if they don't win the Champions League and Spurs go on to win the Europa League. I don't know what to say there, because it's very possible that happens. Yeah, it's very possible. I think if Spurs play United, they beat United in the final. I think they're a better team than United. Um, hmm. I just wonder when the pressure is really going to come on Arteta. And I mean his job pressure, because finishing second's great and all, but at some point you have to make that push through and you have to win one of the big ones. And he's probably not going to get many better chances in the Champions League than he would have had this season. Like, immense credit for beating Real Madrid the way they did. That was definitely a statement couple of victories for Arsenal. But they'll feel like they feel like they didn't do themselves justice last night, I think, against PSG. You always want to at least get a draw at home in your knockout stages in the Champions League. Ideally, you want to take a lead away for the second leg, but going to Paris 1-0 down, I just don't see them turning it around unless PSG get a red card or something. Oh, Eze's a good shout as well, by the way. Sorry, Eze's a good shout. We mentioned him in a video the other day. He doesn't want to go to United, so that's one thing we could say. But Eze's a very interesting one. I could see a world that happens, absolutely, and I could see a vindication as to why we'd go after him. Mark Gay, I'm also going to be an interested observer of this summer with that contract situation at Palace. Do Newcastle push back for him again? There's been some talk that maybe he was higher ambitions than Newcastle. So, yeah, but Eze's a very interesting one. You know, Palace aren't going to want to sell their best stars. You know, they've already lost a player over to Bayern Munich. They've brought through Eze as well, of course. They're going to lose Mark Gay because of the contract situation. But Eze would be an interesting one, wouldn't he? He would be an interesting one. Any idea what type of price on Eze? Has anyone seen numbers mentioned? Because I can't think of any numbers off the top of my head that I've seen mentioned. Harry's said, keep up the great work, Craig. Love the content. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate your continued support as well. Thank you. There's something rattling here. Is it my bottle? Sorry, it was annoying me. There was a tiny little rattle. Reckon we sign a DM or give by Chechic a chance, said Gumi. He's going to be given pre-season. We covered this at the start of the stream. One sec. Where has it gone? Yeah. So this piece here from Lewis Steele said, Stefan Bajcetic will be given a chance to prove himself on the pre-season tour. No discussions have been made no decisions have been made on his long-term future, but he's definitely not earmarked for a sale. There is stories about Ben Doak that Liverpool may not look to sell him, but honestly, I think he's gone this summer if the right offer comes in. Unless something has changed dramatically from what I last heard 3 months ago, I think he's gone. JMU said, as a 50 to 60 million per transfer mark. Yeah, that's not. Transfer mark valuations are always a little bit off for me. But I'd take him at those numbers. I think 50 to 60 million would be more than good value, but I think Palace would probably be at the higher end of that. You heard a little rattle. Could be Arsenal trying to escape our shadow. Could be, Mark. Could be, my man. Could be. So I want to give one small update. As you can see over the past 5, 6, 7 days, I haven't mentioned the scumbag trolling lowlifes. But one thing I can say to you is they have been reported to the counter-terrorism team in the UK, the police force, and not by me. That's one thing I can say to you. So whoever these low-life scumbags are, my advice would be to go about your life and drop whatever nonsense you're going on with, because there's some things that I can't talk about publicly for, I guess, safety reasons being one of them. But let me just say that in case they are watching, because I'm sure you are, your actions have led to somebody, and not us, but they informed us of it, that the activity, shall we say, has been reported to the counter-terrorism police in the UK. And I've seen the acknowledgement that they've received the report as well. So, like I said to you, don't play big boy games, because big boys don't fuck about. And this wasn't even me. I'm still working away and doing my own dot connecting behind the scenes. But there you go. So anyway, and thank you to everyone for sticking with us through it. There's some things I cannot tell you because they're too disturbing, but yeah, karma's going to come their way. I'm going to be a downer, but we have to we're let down every summer, and all we hear is big summer, won't believe it till I see a minimum of 5 players. Look, you know I'm the same, Ryan. Mate, you know I'm going to take a lot of convincing for FSG to be winning me over. But it would be unfair of me not to give them the chance to do it this summer. You know, because either way, the summer transfer window is going to happen, whether I sit here and start preaching negatively about it or positively. I'm willing to see. And I'm also a happy Liverpool fan that the league's won, of course, that Mohamed Salah and Virgil are staying. So there are things that I wanted to happen. They've happened. I'll acknowledge them as a good thing. But yeah, like you, I'll need to see it first before I start believing the big window. Ashley said, how confident are you on signing Hoyson? There's varying degrees with various different outcomes. So if Canade won't sign a new deal, then I'd probably be at 90% that we sign him. If Canade does sign a new deal, I don't know how much of a priority the centre-back position is going to be for our recruitment team, which may open the door for somebody else to get in his ear, like Chelsea. So what I can say is, from my understanding, like I've mentioned in that exclusive about a week and a half ago, Liverpool is a priority in the Premier League that he would like to look at. Now, if Real Madrid seriously put their money down, I can't say that he wouldn't like a move to the Bernabeu, but game time, a pathway through, career progression, these are all things that you're going to hear. And I think Liverpool could certainly make a very, very, very convincing pitch to his camp. And you've seen other reports, nothing from our channel, but people reporting that Hoyson does favour that move to Liverpool. And other reports said he even wants to stay in the Prem. So I think it's possible if we make the play. A couple of things in our favour on it. One, we know there's a release clause, so that kind of somewhat takes out the negotiating with Bournemouth. Two, that release clause, to the best of my understanding, Florian Plettenberg said, can be paid in 3 instalments. So again, not meaning you're going to have to commit a whole heap of money up front. But the one thing I want to ram home about this summer's transfer market, and to be fair to many journalists that have been on Sky Sports back pages and whatnot, they've said this quite adamantly, Liverpool have a lot of room to wiggle financially. A lot. PSR-wise, we've absolutely zero headaches, and we have the ability to spend. Now, the ability to spend and us spending are two very different things. But we have no PSR headaches or calculations to worry about. We can go out there and attack the market and be aggressive. And I hope we do. Naheem said, rather have Canade stay than get Hoyson. I want to sell Kwanzaa and buy Hoyson. That's what I would do, mate, personally. I think that would be an upgrade. But if it came down to Canade or Hoyson, yeah, we love Ibu. I want him to stay, definitely. No doubt about that. And I hope his contract gets sorted out, because he's proved his partnership with Virgil van Dijk this season has been absolutely top-notch. And to be fair to Ibu, I don't remember him having as many injuries or muscle strains as in the past either. I think this has been a very, very good season for him. There's been some shaky moments, and I still think at times he does have a rush of blood to the head, but I can certainly say I want them to stay. Marcus said, "Hi from Norway. Do you ever reflect on your achievements with your channel?" No, not really. I'll tell you why. A couple of reasons why. There's one, I don't see myself as anything other than a normal fella. I know that probably sounds irrational, but I don't. I don't get it all. I don't understand it. I don't know why you watch. I don't. I'm grateful for it, but I don't know why. So because of that, no. And with regards to achievements, how do I say this? In my life, achievements are getting through another day, being here to see my kids get married, be able to pay the rent and keep food on the table. So the channel's achievements I just look at as a very lucky break that I'm very adamant I'm not going to let slip out of my hands without a fight. So I'm going to work as hard as I can to make the channel continue to go in the right direction. But with regards to achievements, not really. No. Because again, for me, I'm a YouTuber. I'm a fella who talks about football. I'm not a professional footballer. I'm not an athlete. I'm not a pundit on television. I'm just a fan. I just consider myself a football fan, and that's it. So yeah, don't really think about it too much because the numbers scare me as well. When I think into 7 million views in a month as an example, like between two videos, 100,000 people watch me eat a piece of broccoli. That freaks my mind. 100,000 people watch me eat a piece of broccoli. Over 100,000 people looked at me talking to a Premier League trophy. Like these, I don't understand my industry. That's what freaks me out the most. I don't understand all of it. How this is a thing. Do any Liverpool fans actually want Cole Palmer? No, not for me. Right, no, I would say I would pass on Cole Palmer. Would you take Matoma from Brighton if Diaz goes? Nope, too old. Too old, had too many injuries this season for my liking. And it's Brighton, so again, they already turned down an offer that is more than Liverpool would ever consider for him. So I just don't see it as realistic one or a good fit either. Cuppy said, you have 309,058 subs. You should be proud of what you've achieved. I don't see it as my achievement though. You know, I see it as just more people coming together rather than me achieving anything. So my favourite moments are the few minutes before the stream when I watch you guys interacting, experiencing and sharing moments that I couldn't do if it wasn't for the channel. They're the things that I really appreciate and love, you know? The simple things about it. You know, sharing my love of Liverpool with other people, seeing what Liverpool means to other people. All I see is me being able to facilitate the chat. That's it. I think of it as you guys are the stars of the show, and I'm just here to pick and read and share some bits of information. That's it. So, I do think I have sharp wit. I can come up with comebacks quickly and stuff like that, but again, what is an achievement, you know? An achievement is somebody going to college and getting a degree, somebody beating cancer battle, you know? What I get to do is, I just feel lucky, really. I just feel fortunate. And I hate talking about me as well. I know that ironically, but I hate talking about myself in that regard because it's not about me, this channel. It's about the club and it's about you guys. Where's that one from Zaki? Huge fan, Craig. Watching since Burnley 3-0 in 1920 and I've enjoyed every moment. As an Egyptian, I'd love to see Mo get a statue at Anfield when he hangs up his boots, would you give him one? Well, look, whether it's a statue or something else, yes, 100%. And I think he will. Mohamed Salah is more than just a footballer. He is an embodiment of everything that is good about sport, everything that is possible because of sport, how to live your life as a good human being, how to be humble. He is the perfect role model, Mohamed Salah, in every way. And he deserves recognition. And I have no doubt that the club will provide him with that recognition. What that looks like, I don't know, mate. You know, I don't know what it manifests itself at. But he deserves every accolade that he gets because he is a truly unique man. And you know what? I'm thinking back to what he uses his influence for at times. And it's not to just line his own back pockets. He has a voice and he knows that he has a moral compass that's guided right as well. And that's what makes Mohamed Salah a special man. So yeah, just a good human being is what I would say first and foremost, and embodies everything that a sporting star should be, in my opinion. A great example to youth, somebody that brings people together, even through divides of religion or thought processes or ideologies, somebody that always plays the game with a smile on his face, somebody that looks after himself, lives the lifestyle of a professional athlete, shows kids how to, you know, utilize their nutrition properly. He's just amazing as a human being. That's it. I can't do it justice. But I will also say this, and I've been consistent about this all the way through. For everything else that I've just said, me as a human being, I will never have the same connection to a Mohamed Salah that I would have to a Bobby Firmino or a Ronnie O'Sullivan, or I like a flawed individual. I like somebody who I feel has the same misgivings as me, or isn't a complete person, if you get me, that needs you to support them, if that makes any sense. But Mo, for me, is just he's what every child should look at with regards to a role model, 100%. As Brendan Rodgers would say, he's a beautiful human being, said Nomad. Yeah, absolutely, man, absolutely. I think you'll appreciate what you've done once you've done everything you want to do, Craig. A bit like a player looking after his medals after retiring. I do have goals I want to achieve. I will say that. For instance, I believe Redmen TV celebrated their 15th anniversary as a channel this year, and congratulations to them on 15 years of making content and, you know, sharing their love of the club with other fans. So 15 years is tremendous to be gone that long. I won't last 15 years. I know that because I know how demanding this is on me mentally and physically. So what I want to do is I want to continue to build on giving a voice to people who feel are undermined, undervalued, underappreciated around the world, that they're not taken seriously enough as a Liverpool fan. I want to continue to ram down the throats of people that want to silence us and belittle us. I want to become the most subscribed to Liverpool fan channel in the world. These are small little goals that I do have, and I'd be a liar if I said I didn't. But I don't give a shit about the money side of it. That doesn't bother me in the slightest. It's like, I would rather have 1 million subscribers than £1 million, if that makes sense. Because that to me would mean 1 million people think that I'm a decent person. And I'm so insecure that I need that and crave that acceptance, if that makes any sense. Salah's flawed, Craig. He signed for Chelsea. Fair. But he got out of there as quickly as he could. Right, let's go back through the news for people who were coming in a bit late. So we'll go through it all in chronological order as to when I have it. And again, thank you to everyone that did come in and join us after the Champions League and all. We appreciate your support. If you can drop a quick like on the stream for me, that would be incredible. And of course, if you haven't hit that subscribe button, we'd love you to do that one as well. Right, let's go. So Lewis Steele said, I'm told that Chiesa's performance at Plymouth in the FA Cup exit really concerned the coaching staff. It wasn't good enough and that somewhat set him back. Sticking with Lewis Steele, Stefan Bajcetic will be given a chance to prove himself on the pre-season tour. No decisions have been made on his longer-term future, but he's definitely not earmarked for a sale yet. Sticking again with Lewis Steele, he said Hugo Ekitike is one to watch. Liam Delap and Matthias Cunha can be ruled out of a move to Liverpool. Oshiman has been linked, but I've not heard anything on that one, said Lewis. Speaking with Harvey Elliott, the Echo, I believe, had an interview with him, and Harvey Elliott said this to the Echo. I hope that I can push on next season. This is my team. I'm committed to them, and it's just a situation that is always going to have a lot of talk. I just need to think about what's best for my future. Hopefully, I'm still here, to be honest. It's the best place to be, the best place to be at, especially having the fans around us at the moment. I don't think there's a better place to be playing. Again, still with Lewis Steele, speaking about Jarell Kwanzaa, he said Jarell Kwanzaa would command a big fee, but teams are keen and this would depend on replacements. Moving on to Jarell Haddo, Lewis Steele wrote that Jarell Haddo at Ajax has also been mooted, but talk about him has cooled somewhat recently, although Virgil van Dijk is said to be a big fan. Sticking again with Lewis Steele, he said Liverpool will certainly not be advancing any deals with Bournemouth for Huijsen, Kerkez or Semenyo while the Cherries are still in the mix for European football qualification. It would be disrespectful to do so. Now, again, while we're sticking with Bournemouth there, Evan Nielsen's red card has been overturned, the one he received against United, but fat lot of good that is to Bournemouth because the points have already been dropped. So again, thank you to PGMOL for screwing another club out of an opportunity. And then we have Claudio Taffarel speaking about Alisson's future. He said, Alisson wants to continue living this story. I saw that a wave of Saudi opportunities came in, very high offers. But he always says, wow, I want to continue this story because I owe a lot to them here and I want to continue this life. Alexis McAllister is wanted by Real Madrid. They say that Real Madrid are going to make a €90 million offer to sign him. And it's not going to be anywhere near enough. Look, he's not going to be sold full stop. But €90 million won't buy his left foot. So that's about 78 million quid. Way too low, and he's not going to be sold. The piece goes on to say they see him as the perfect replacement for Luka Modric. Tough, you're not getting him. Then there was a piece from Caught Offside that said Liverpool are willing to listen to offers of around 50 million to 55 million euro for Diogo Jota this summer. Wolves, Newcastle, Aston Villa, Al Ittihad, Al Nasser and Al Hilal are all interested in the Portuguese forward. Then we moved on to Fabrizio's exciting post about Morgan Rogers, and he said Liverpool have sent their scouts several times to watch Morgan Rogers. Liverpool will monitor his progress and keep an eye on developments in case of surprise movements or potential exits. A deal for Rogers is seen as complicated by Liverpool, which it would be. It would take us to probably sell the likes of an Elliott. It would probably take Villa to miss out on Champions League football and maybe have some PSR concerns. So yeah, keep an eye on that one because that is one of those transfers where I'd say a couple of things have to fall into place for it to become a potential deal. Now we move on to the Rodrigo stuff. This one comes from Marca. It said multiple top clubs want Rodrigo and his current plan is to leave Real Madrid. The destination is still unknown. Also, we had Anfield Sector quote tweeting Madrid Extra, who were saying Rodrigo's considering to leave and saying Michael Edwards loves him, which is true. Michael Edwards tried to sign him when he was still in Brazil before he went to Real Madrid and very nearly got it done. Sky Sports have said Ray Knight-Nuri is among the type of attacking left-backs Liverpool are looking for. There is a feeling at Wolves that Nuri has earned the chance to move to a bigger club if a suitable offer comes in. I just don't know if that suitable offer will be forthcoming from Liverpool or not, and I certainly hope it's Kerkez that we move for. Right, what else have we got? Michael said, hi Craig, getting to the top is hard, staying is even harder when you'll have haters, jealous infiltrators trying to bring you down. Feck them all, we got your back. Look, I've said to you before, and I mean this when I say it. All of these little arsehole trolls and horrible little shits can say, do, write what they want. I've been through harder in my life to get to this point with what happened with my parents and my mental health and lots of other things that I haven't spoken about, that these people are like an annoying little fly, you know? I have real world problems that I've battled through. To still be here sitting talking to you is an achievement. So yeah, they're never going to be a real concern for me because they're nothing. They're not important to me. You know, they don't want me to do well. If they show up at my front door, I'll deal with that situation. But until then, they're just making noise, and I don't care about them or their hatred of me. They don't know me, so they're hating on me because probably I've banned them. They don't like a clip of me or something else. I don't know. I don't like to say jealousy because I'm not worth being jealous of, but I just don't. They don't come into my day-to-day thinking, you know, other than them crossing the line with my son. That was their big mistake, and that's the one that they're going to regret. Because, and I don't mean this as a physical threat or anything, but I will leave no stone unturned making sure that I find out who that person is, and making sure that I have a very creative repayment plan sorted out for them. Right. I wanted to just give you guys... Oh, for those coming in late as well, by the way, meant to say this. We said at the start of the stream, we're very close to booking in the show in Cork. It would be August the 8th, Friday night. So as soon as we get that officially booked in, we'll let you guys know about it. And we're still looking for something for either September, November, somewhere outside of Ireland. So keep you up to date with that one. Also, our live shows, as I mentioned at the start of the stream, are absolutely flying. They're on to be the two biggest shows we've done yet. So if you haven't got your tickets yet, I'm not trying to put on the hard sell, but I am trying to be honest. You know, it could well sell out. So if you do want to come along, make sure you grab your tickets, because usually in the week up to this, things snowball. And with the title being presented on May the 25th for the last game of the season, I don't want anyone who maybe wants to go to be disappointed. So again, hope to see you all there for the 25th and 28th. I was checking in with Chris and Steve yesterday. They're both looking forward to it as well. It's going to be a fun day. Judd Chiesa on the Carabao Cup final away the Plymouth game. I know, it feels really harsh, Peter. It does. It feels really harsh. I think if you want to judge a player, you judge them with the first team, with the players in and around them that are playing week in and week out. Not in a much changed team, in an FA Cup tie, away from home, where he's expected to carry it all. It feels unfair, but I've got to say as well, I don't see what goes on the training ground. So, you know, maybe the manager is seeing stuff he doesn't like there. And I don't mean attitude-wise. It could be technical things that he just doesn't like. I don't know. But certainly if it was that one game, it does feel very harsh. I've also got to say, the Premier League predictions video is going to come out at 10 a.m. because the Premier League games are starting from Thursday. So there's a game on tomorrow, Man City on Friday, and then Saturday, Sunday. So as soon as I finish this stream, I'm going to record the Premier League predictions video, and that's going to be coming out at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. So please do make sure to keep an eye out for that one. Craig, who is second command after Virgil if Trent leaves? Probably Mo or Ali. I would imagine it will go in seniority like that. Gomez will be in that mix as well. If you're asking me who should be or who I would pick, Alexis McAllister. The man just screams leadership to me. So for me, I'd have Alexis McAllister as the vice captain. Mohamed Salah should be in that group as well. But yeah, if Trent goes, my suggestion would be Alexis McAllister, because I think he just shows leadership. Mary said, Craig, them shows are going to be fantastic and the crowds are still in their happy vibes. I know. That's why I'm so excited about them, Mary. Like, we've got lots of fun stuff planned for both shows. They're going to be two very different shows. One is just going to be me on stage, which is the first one. And the one on the Wednesday is going to have the whole five of us there. So I'm buzzing for it. I can't wait. Yeah, really, really excited to get over and meet up with everybody again, parade the trophy, bring my own trophy over as well to have a bit of a laugh with people with. I can't wait. Can't wait. My daughter's actually gone over to Liverpool next week for her 21st. So, yeah, she's coming over with me for the Wednesday show as well on the 28th. So you'll be able to say hello to her. But yeah, she's gone over with her boyfriend for her 21st next week. And I was delighted she wanted to go to Liverpool. Jaffa Jake said, I was thinking Macca, but wondering if Arna would pick Gravenberg. Could do. Look, another very good name, to be honest. Yeah, I love Ryan Gravenberch, and what he's done and stepped up this season has been tremendous. So, decent shout. Lewis said, hey Craig, September's my birthday month. I think the Atkinson and Southport will be good venue. Paul Smith has done shows there. It's too close to Liverpool though, mate. It's too close. So we've done Liverpool August. We're doing Liverpool again May twice. And we did Liverpool, I think, March time as well. So there would have been too many. So I think the next one is going to be, I mean, if you want me to pick an ideal place, Spain, Norway, maybe up in Scotland. That's a good shout as well. But yeah, I think we'll be going a bit further afield than like if we ever do anything near Liverpool, which I know Southport isn't Liverpool, but it's in it'll be the Hot Water Comedy Club. That's our home in that area of the world. But my birthday is also September, so there you go. How does it feel your daughter's 21? Pride. I feel proud. Somewhat relief that we've managed to make sure we've done our job. We've kept her healthy and safe to 21. But pride more than anything in the young lady that she's become. Yeah, pride. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to say goodnight to you all. Anyway, parts of the shows can be filmed for us international viewers. We are working on something, Zaki. Yes, not all of it, because there's some things that I say on stage that I would probably get into a lot of trouble if they became public on the internet, but we are working on trying to figure out something, my man, so leave it with me. But appreciate you all, as always, and thank you. Not sure about tomorrow night, don't think we're going to be live, but we will have 3 videos out for you tomorrow. The Premier League predictions, a news video early, and a news video late. Until then, thank you, as always, much love, enjoy the good weather, and we'll catch up with you soon.